been sitting here thinking on this whole NFL protest subject, and I was trying not to talk about it, but since it's the only thing that I see on social media, like, I have no choice but to address it because it's driving me crazy. First of all, let's get back to the root of everything. The root of all protests started because Colin Kaepernick sat down while the national anthem was playing. And they asked Colin, why was he sitting down? And he told them why he was sitting down. So at that point, it was like, oh, you're being disrespectful to the flag and to the veterans and to all that. So he started kneeling. So that's where the whole kneeling thing comes from. But now some people are confusing the fight for injustice and for equality with the fight for Colin Kaepernick getting a job. And if you recall, Colin Kaepernick said, if they take away my endorsements, take away my job, then what I have done will be worth it. Paraphrasing a little bit. But basically he's saying, I will sacrifice my job for the greater good. But some people are fighting for Kaepernick, but Kaepernick is fighting for the injustice and fighting for equality. And that's where people are getting mixed up at. The fight is not for Colin Kaepernick. The fight is for injustice and for equality. Now, this past weekend, the president, whether you claim him or not, he's the president of the United States. The president called the people who were kneeling sons of bitches. So all of a sudden, all the athletes get in their feelings because the president. Now all of a sudden, all the athletes get in their feelings because the president called them sons of bitches. Now, I don't think that the president should be calling anybody sons of bitches. He should be held up to a higher standard. But at the same time, I really don't think that son of a bitch is the worst thing that any NFL player has been called. I'm pretty sure they be calling themselves worse things on the field. Like puss ass nigga, you bitch ass nigga, a couple things like that. I'm pretty sure they say stuff like that. So I'm trying to figure out why are they such in their feelings because the president called them sons of bitches, and now they're all unified and bullshit because it's all really fake. Because the reason that they are protesting or they are unified is all because of the president talking about them. It has nothing to do with the injustices and the killings and the lack of equality that has been going on in the United States since the beginning of time. Now, I'm not telling anyone how they should fight or what they should fight for, but a lot of people who are watching this are confused. They are thinking that this fight is about inequality and injustice, but really it's just because the president called them sons of bitches. Now the thing is, what's gonna happen now? Will this fight continue? Is this a one weekend type of thing? Will they do something to help the whole United States, or is it a selfish act all because the president called them sons of bitches and they want to show their defiance, so that you can't call me a son of a bitch and you can't tell me what to do? So please don't get it confused. And I'm not trying to be the petty Peter or the ender of the party or whatever it is, but I just want y'all to be aware of what you're looking at and don't be fooled. I don't even think that the players themselves know what they're doing. It was just like, oh hell no moment like that. And overall protest makes people uncomfortable. If you're gonna protest, if you have to protest, there's gonna have to be a sacrifice involved. Like, people lost lives for protest. People lost jobs. They lost everything because of protest. So if you're gonna have a successful protest, you have to be willing to give up something. Honestly though, like, I'm sick of the protests. I'm sick of the protests, and I'm sick of the protest of the protest. I'm sick of the word protest. Like, what is taking a knee really doing? Okay, in the beginning, taking a knee was all about getting the conversation started. But the thing about it is, I think someone said it's been 14 months since Colin Kaepernick took the first knee. Okay, cool. So we've been talking about the same thing for 14 months. And what have we been talking about for 14 months? Not the issues. Not the issues at all. We've been talking about who is disrespecting the flag and who is offended by disrespecting the flag. And people saying, I'm not disrespecting the flag. So for 14 months, that's been going on. I think it's like time for phase 2. What is phase 2? I don't know what phase 2 is, but whoever is an activist or whatever, there are people who dedicate their lives to activism. I think that's the right word, but there's people out there who dedicate their lives to this. They need to get phase 2 started. Or maybe they have already gotten phase 2 started, and you as a protester need to find out what phase 2 is all about so you can get on board with phase 2. Because really, taking a knee is not effective. Like, what is it doing? It's just having people going back and forth about the flag. So it's ineffective, and something else needs to happen. Taking a knee, raising a fist is getting nothing done. So now it's time to move forward. And another thing about the players that I found hilarious is they're all unified now because President Trump said, you sons of bitches, right? It made all of them mad. It was like, you're not gonna come in here and disrespect my colleagues and members of my organization and all this kind of stuff, right? But a couple of weeks ago, Michael Bennett was detained by the police officers and had a gun to his head. And the police officer, from Michael Bennett's words, said, if you move, I'll blow your fucking brains out. Michael Bennett is one of your own. He's a football player. But nobody cared. Nobody reacted this way when that happened to him. So when the president called everybody sons of bitches, everybody gets all up in their feelings. They get their jock straps in a bunch or whatever you want to call it. So that's why I sit here and say that this whole charade is fake and stupid and it's unproductive. And then even at the same time, the NFL owners were catching it. It was catching hell because people felt like they blackballed Colin Kaepernick, which I agree with. But they was catching it because of that. But now all of a sudden, President Trump said something. We got a public relations situation now. Let's lock arms with the players and take a knee with the players and all this other kind of bullshit and make it look like, we're not blackballing Colin Kaepernick, but they really were. So don't get fooled and don't think that they are really on the player side and all this bullshit, because the owners are all about money, and that's what they should be. They're businessmen. But I'm just saying, man, like, just be woke, and overall, don't just take things for what it is. Sometimes you just gotta look deeper into stuff, and it's really not a beautiful place when you look deeper into things and you see the corruption and all the fake stuff, and it's not a pretty sight when you look into stuff. But sometimes it's better to be aware. But sometimes it's better to just be ignorant to everything, because ignorance is bliss, and when you don't know, you can just have fun and enjoy life. But when you know and you're aware and you seek this kind of stuff, it's dark and it's ugly. So, I mean, y'all do what y'all need to do. Leave y'all comments. If you think I'm wrong, tell me why you think I'm wrong, or whatever you gotta do, man. I just appreciate y'all watching, and peace.